topic, Python exception handlings. Let me go for open your IDE, which is Anaconda Navigator. Okay, let me launch the Jupyter notebook. Yeah, so go to your specific location where is your files are available. So today topic is that it's up, which is very important, guys. So you can handle the errors. Okay, so go to new location or new Jupyter file. Here the name is Python exceptions or exception handlings. Okay, so before we understood what exactly the exception handling, we need to go for understanding the exception. So exception means it's a cause of error. Okay, or error, nothing but it's error. Okay, so first try to be go for understanding the error. So error in the sense there could be some kind of mistake in a program, right? Mistake in a program, that we are calling it say error. So basically when you did a mistake in a program, okay, you will get the two types of errors actually. The first one is the syntax error. The first one is the syntax error, and second one is the runtime error. Okay, so first one is the syntax error, second one is the runtime error. So syntax error in the sense syntax error in the sense maybe by the time of writing the program you forgot to write some proper syntax, then you will be getting the syntax errors. Let's do some examples. Here I have the true keyword, and here we have to write some kind of task, right? For example, pass. So here I don't have any kind of syntax error. Okay, so the reason is that you followed the syntax very well, like if and followed by the condition, and make sure that colon and the statement, if it is not available then we can use the pass keyword, and if we have no statements we can give you some space and we can write multiple statement within the block. This is the syntax. So but here the syntax was successfully which is satisfied, so that we are not getting any kind of error. But try to remove this colon symbol. If I remove this colon symbol, you got a syntax error or not? Okay, you got a syntax error, right? And for example, you have to go for print the hello. Okay, but you started with a double quote, but you ended with a single quote. So this is the syntax error. So if you started with a double quote, you must end with a string. Also, it's a double quote only. Okay, and here you got the syntax error. So here syntax error, even before this statement you have a correct statement where you have it. For example, here we have a statement is high. So first statement syntactically it's a correct, but second statement syntactically it's a wrong, so that the entire program which is not executable. Okay, so when you have a syntax error, your program which is not in being execution. If we have syntax error in a program, then program won't execute. Okay, our program, it won't start, it would not start execution. Okay, so I hope you understood, right? So syntax errors, it's a totally programmer mistake. Syntax errors you will get because of the program. Now I don't have any kind of syntax error. I don't have any kind of syntax error. Then my program can be executed successfully. Then you will be getting output actually. But you have some kind of runtime errors, right? Runtime errors in the sense no syntax errors. There is no syntax errors, but logically there could be some error. Logical errors. Logically, or no memory issues. For example, you written a program, but it is not sufficient memory. Then you will be getting the memory issues, right? Logical, if you miss the logic or if you miss the memory space, okay, if it is failed to allocate in the memory, or else if some files are not available, then that situation maybe you will be getting the runtime errors. Okay, so you don't have any kind of syntax errors, guys. Syntactically, the program is correct, but logically, it was little wrong. Because of that one, you may get the this kind of errors. See, I could write a program with the 3 lines, and in a second line, I would like to go for division with 0. Is it possible? If any number, if you division with 0, is it possible? So when you try to division with 0, it's a mathematical error actually. So which is not possible division with 0 with any number, so that you'll be getting the 0 division error. See, before you are getting the 0 division error, the first statement is executed, so that we got the output. Second statement we got the logical error, so that we are getting the runtime error. The name of the runtime error is it's a 0 division error. Once if you got the runtime error, the program execution stops at that error itself. Even you have a statements are correct after the this second statement, it won't execute. Okay. So I just want to show you various runtime errors. For example, I would like to go for print the one name, but the name is not existed. You'll be getting the name error. So here 0 division error is the one runtime error, name error is the one runtime error. Okay, and I would like to go for converting some complex number. I would like to convert some complex number into the integer number. Then you will be getting the type error. So type error, name error, 0 division error. Okay, and so you just call one particular function. Okay, but the function is not existed. Then you will be getting the name error. Okay, this function you are not defined, so that we got the name. For example, um, you open some file. For example, if you open the file, we can use the open function, but the file which is not existed. Okay, then file not found error. Okay, and so meanwhile you're trying to be importing one library, but library which is not available. With help of the import keyword, we can import any libraries or any packages, but that library is not available. Then you will be getting the module not found error. Okay, see here, file not found error, module not found error, and name error, type error, and here 0 division error. Like that we have so many runtime errors we have it. It depends upon a situation, you might be getting this kind of things, or else when you do some kind of this kind of logical things, then logical issues, then you will be getting this kind of errors only. So when you're getting this kind of errors, the program can be stopped immediately. So the process we are calling it the exception. What is exception? Exception means the program can stop immediately, then stops while execution. Okay, exception means the program can stop while execution because of what? Because of runtime errors. Clear? The process we are calling it say exception. I need a clarification. Did you got the concept what exactly the exception? Hello?
Yes, Sanjan. It is
Yes.
like exception which can stop the program.
Programs. That's it.
Yeah, while
Exception means,
executing it. Yeah.
yes. Exception means you have a lot of statements are there, but because of one small logical error or else runtime error, okay, your program can be stopped immediately. It never go for executing even rest of the statements. That kind of situations, this exception, this kind of things we're calling it exceptions. Okay. So as a programmer, as a programmer, you have to go for handle that exceptions. How we can handle the exceptions?
Check the syntax, sir.
Hmm? So
Check the syntax.
syntax means what? Because of there is no syntax. Syntactically, the program is correct. Syntactically, the program is correct. Okay. So logical errors you can't change because of it's a by time of execution. As a programmer, you develop the code and you deliver to the client. By the time of no, by the time of client execution, okay, he did some kind of mistakes, right? That is not your program. That's not your problem. So programmer defined the program and it was testing and everything is successful. So you deliver the program or project to the client. By the time of client location, okay, he's getting this kind of issues. So as a programmer, we are responsible for that. Okay, to handle that kind of exception in a real time. Okay. So for that one, we have a concept is exception handling concepts. So exception handling in the sense to handle the exception in real time. So how we can handle? We have a try keyword, and and here we have a try keyword, and here we have a except keyword. Okay. So the try keyword, which is a block, the try keyword is a block, and here we have to write the entire program. We have to write the entire program within that try block. Okay. Except block will executes, will handle the exception. That means by the time of this program in a try block we written a program, right? This program is which is being executing. By the time of execution of the program, you got some kind of logical error. Then the program can be stops here, and the cursor will goes to the exception block. Whatever the statements are there in exception block, it will execute. Then it will come out the particular blocks. Okay. Let me go for write a some program, very small program for understanding purpose. I'm not building any functions and anything. I'm just writing a small thing. Okay, so here I have a try block, and within the try block, you written the three statements: hello, and your division with 0, and you're printing a high, right? So here we have except block. Okay, and if try block is there, then make sure that except block is must be available. Otherwise, you will be getting an error. You just remove this one, and we can try to make execute it. So you will be getting this kind of syntax error. That means if try is there, then except is the syntax, and you should write the except. Otherwise, it could be syntax error. Okay. So for example, there is no statements. Your program is stopped here. Is your program is stopped? Previously, what happens? We are getting this kind of errors on screen. That means the program execution was stopped here. But here, the program is not stopped, which is executed successfully. But some statements was skipped. That's it. Okay. Some of the statements are skipped, but your entire program has been executed without any error. That means when you got an exception, then the cursor will goes to the except block. I handled the okay, I handled the exception. So now see, you got an a high and you got an a zero division error. Once if you got the runtime error, the program execution stops here. Then the execution goes to the exception block so that except statements are executed and it is come out from that particular block. Clear? Meanwhile, it can handle any exception, not only zero division error. So it can handle the any exception, any kind of exception, even name error, type error, anything. Okay, it can handle it. For example, I couldn't get any kind of exceptions. Okay, my try block was executed successfully. My try block was executed. Now some number. Okay, my try block was executed successfully. Then except is the block which won't execute. So here this exception will execute if and only if you got an exception. You don't need to write any condition, guys. Okay, if and only if exception is occurred, then only exception block will execute. Otherwise, try block only will execute. Okay, and here we have an optional block you can create, that is else block. Okay, this else block, it will execute it if no exceptions. If no exceptions, then else block can execute. Here the blocks you created, but inside of the block you can write your own logics. Okay, see here these three statements are successfully executed, so that else can be executed. For example, same program I've written, but this time intentionally I made some kind of syntax error, or sorry, runtime error, so that try block was raising an exception, then except will executes by the time the else is won't executes. Else won't execute if you got an exception. Okay, that means if except block is executed, else won't executes. This is something like if else, elif later, something like this. And we have one more block is there, that is optional block. It could be finally. Finally, in the sense, it doesn't matter if you are if you have an exception, if you don't have an exception, it doesn't matter. Okay, at any situation, any situation, so finally will executes. It doesn't matter if you are having an exception or not. Okay, so I can write the program without exception, even though finally will executes or not, we'll see. So try was executed successfully, so that else is executed and finally also executed. See, finally is the block, it will execute even if you have an exception, even if you don't have an exception. That is the meaning of the finally block. Okay, and you can create, here we have so many exceptions are there, right? Here we have so many runtime errors, right? If you are having the name error, then I have to go for handle the name error exception. Then you can create the except and followed by the error name. Then this name error exception will execute if and only if we have the error with the name error issues. If you got an exception because of name error issue, I got exception because name error. Okay, so this is the way. See here, I can write the name, but the name is not available. Okay, so I got an exception because of the name error. Same program I can write, but this time, which is not name error, there could be some kind of import error. Module not found error. This situation, name error is not executed. By default, exception can execute. If you not specified the error exception or exception block, separate exception block, then the default exception will execute. Okay, this is the way you can write the different exceptions, different type of exceptions, like type error. If you want to handle the type error issue, okay,
And then how can we find the uh,
we can't find
types of exceptions?
the
Exception
type
types.
of errors. Actually, we can't find the type of exceptions. Okay,
Oh,
when
okay.
you're working, so when you are building the program, by the time of testing, okay, the testing team give you, I'm getting this kind of issue, handle this one. Then as a programmer, you have to handle that one. Okay, you don't worry about it, what are the type of exception you have it. So the testing team or debugging team will help you or will give you some kind of exception information. So these are the
Okay,
basic
okay.
exceptions, basic runtime errors. You have so many exceptions. You can go and Google it. What are the runtime errors in Python? Then you will be getting a lot of things, lot of articles. So you don't need to remember those all things, right?
So that means there is no dictionary such kind, huh?
Yeah, there is no dictionary. There is no this here a file exit error.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, understood it. Usually in the PL SQL we have like no data found error like that.
So for that one, you don't have any
Python,
kind of
yeah,
list for
understood.
showing all the errors, but in a Google or document, Python document, it is having it. Okay, so
Yes.
you just go and access that Python document, then you can see that all type of errors. Okay, so here, except see. Here you press the tab space. Here we have the ABS, all, any, arithmetic error, assertion error, attribute error, base exception, blocking IO error, the breakpoint,
And then what was the shortcut
tab
to
space,
see those?
except and space and tab space. You just press the tab space, then
Okay, okay,
you
tabs.
will
Okay,
see all errors. If something is there,
okay,
that
understood.
means it's error actually. Okay,
Yes.
UOF error, file exits error, file not found error, and floating point error, generator no import error, imp, indentation error, index error, okay, interrupt error, IO error, is
Yeah,
directed
yeah,
error.
understood.
So like we have so many errors we have it. So this all errors we can look, but you don't need to remember this all things. As a programmer, when you are practicing or when you are working environment, we have a team and you have to handle this kind of error. So how we can handle? So then this is the concept. This is the process of handling this all type of errors. Okay.
Yeah.
While
Yeah.
exists error. So this is the way you have to write the try and multiple exception blocks and else and finally blocks. Okay. This is the syntax. This is the process of handling the exceptions. Okay. So I handle the exception. This is import error, right? But this is the error here import. But for handling the import, I'm not mentioned. So that's the reason by default exception has been executed. If you mentioning the import error exception, then it can handle it. If you not mention the error type, then by default exception can be executed. Okay. And here we have a rise keyword. The rise keyword which can be rise the exception whenever you want it. Intentionally you can rise the exception. So here you don't have any kind of exception, the program being executed successfully, but intentionally I want to raise an exception. So we have a keyword is rise keyword, then exception has been raised. But you can raise the whatever the error you want to be raised at. For example, type error. Okay, we just mention the rise type error, then it will go for handling the type error exception. Okay, so here rise is the keyword. It's as a programmer, you can create some kind of logic. Maybe if user is giving some kind of wrong information, okay, maybe it could be invalid data, then that particular situation you are not allowed for next process, then you can rise it. Instead of stopping your program, you can rise it. Okay, clear? Yeah, that's what this is the small program, guys. This is the way you can handling the multiple exception, multiple type of exception. It is small program, you can take it a screenshot, it will help you. Take the screenshot and try to be executed. This is for today's session. And guys, most of the guys are facing an issue accessing the recordings. Again, I want to tell you, okay, so whether you are added or not, first I have to check out it. So Chiru, you are able to access the recordings or not?
Yes, I can.
So who are not
I can access.
accessing the recordings? Satya, can you?
I'm able to access Sanjay.
Yes, Satya is also able to access the recordings. Satya, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So you have an, can you access this playlist or not, first of all?
Yes, sir. I see.
Okay, so can you see this particular playlist? ADS Sara 00011. Can you see this playlist in your rack by the time of entering into this website?
Yes, sir.
If you click on this one, here we have, can you see these things like, daily status and Python programming language? Can you see these things?
Yes, sir.
So from this one, here clearly mentioned or not, list data type recording, list tuple recording, function recording. These are the recordings only, Satya.
Okay, sir.
If we click on this one,
Got it.
then automatically, if you click on this one, the video will be over here. Hello.
Got it, sir.
Okay. So fine. So if anyone is facing an issue for accessing the recordings, so you can ask me so that I can help you. That's for today's session, guys, and hopefully and you got some information, and tomorrow we'll see that some new topic, and we'll mostly we can try to be go for understanding the modules and packages. Then we can proofs concepts, and we can finish it. Mostly I can try to finish it this week only. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Thank you, Anjan. Thank you all.
Thank
Bye.
you, Anjan.